even though we were focused on the content, a lot of it also was just like, we need money to keep this content going. At some point, we were reaching into our own pockets to sustain
we were using
our
not reaching, not like far, because there was nothing in this pot. So it was our own pockets. We were reaching. Then
we didn't even have
a
TMI bank account because we had no money.
There was no what for? To collect space.
Hi guys, Muruki Munyi here.
It's Lydia KM.
And for the 100th time, it's us again with another episode of
The Messy In Between.
It's definitely TMI! Happy 100th episode to us, bitch.
100 episodes.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
I remember our first episode like it was yesterday, but
I
also
was
I
so
don't.
excited.
I remember it, but also I don't.
I don't even remember what we talked about.
I also don't remember. No, I remember us doing an episode about like something about us or like introducing ourselves, something like that.
Yeah, something to do with like I think even a podcast or how the podcast started.
But remind us.
Someone. What did we do?
What's our first episode?
I remember it was something along like how we started the podcast or something like that. And here we are, than 2 years, 100 episodes.
This is such a big deal to us because one, not many podcasts make it past, let me even say 10 episodes.
Yeah, apparently like
early
90%
yeah,
don't.
90% of them you just start and then they end for season one.
Mm-hmm.
And after season one, you don't hear about another season. Mm-hmm. But we've been consistent and it means a lot to get to 100 episodes. We're in triple digits now.
Yeah, we are. And I feel like even if we haven't been in the game for so long as far as years, consistency, commitment, I feel like we are slowly getting to OGs because 100 episodes.
Please.
100 episodes is a really big deal. Yeah. And of course we wouldn't have done it without you guys' support. You guys love TMI. Actually, I feel like Inbetweeners are like fanatics. It's like they're like die hard.
Yeah. I told you when I went to the UK, I met more Inbetweeners than I did fans of like my own page. Yeah. It's just like, I watch TMI, I listen to TMI. That made me feel so good. Yeah. It made me feel so good.
I know. And guys, our goal is international for sure. We want to be like all the big dreams you guys dream for us. It's like times 10.
Yeah.
And I just pray that we keep getting like life keeps working with us to be able to continue doing this because I love doing this so much.
Me too. Yeah, I love doing this. Even on the days when I don't want to do it, I still love to do it.
Yeah.
You know that the days, where you just come, you're just like, but it's like, anyway, at least it's this.
At least it's this. If I'm not going to be doing anything in low energy, guys, we just took a nap right now. We are literally struggling to get out of the bed to come and shoot the episode.
Yeah, I was like, I'm up for episode 100. We just play the first episode again. And then
and
guys,
just celebrate,
exactly.
You know? Yeah, so if we're going to do anything low energy and when things are tough and when things are hard, this is it.
This is it, honestly. When we were doing episode 1, did you think we would get to 100 episodes?
I feel like I didn't exactly picture the 100, like the number 100, but I knew this was something.
Yeah.
I just knew in my heart the way we were so committed. So I didn't visualize like the 100, but I knew this was going to be something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even for me, I guess I was just like, we are starting this thing. And usually when I'm starting a thing, I'm not picturing it ending. So I just knew it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep going.
It's going to keep
However,
going.
I definitely was not prepared for like everything perhaps that it required for it to keep going until the 100th episode.
Yeah. We were naive.
Yeah, we were naive.
Definitely naive.
We were
how much it
stupid.
cost and the amount of time, restructuring a lot of life.
Yeah.
Our life story, locations.
Oh yeah, a lot has gone into making TMI what it is. What would you say stands out for you as some of our like top? Let's start with top episodes. Top episodes for you.
Top episodes. I always think about I'm a 10 but because it was such a vulnerable episode, but it was funny, like because we were basically just kind of
I hated it but loved it at the same
exactly.
time.
When we were shooting it, I was just like yuck, like, and you were just thinking, wow, I am a walking red flag.
Literally, I'm like, why did my man marry me?
But I really loved that one. I loved Things I'm Too Old For. And I loved, there's another one which I said the other day. I'm a 10 bad things I'm too old for.
Oh, you said the McKenna. The Chris episode.
The Chris episode.
Yes,
I love that as well. Yeah, those ones are the ones which are kind of somewhere stuck in me. When I think about TMI, they come up. Yeah.
For me, I would say any episode we've done specifically about contraception, because like that's one thing that is just so close to my heart. I can preach contraception to anyone who would listen.
Yeah.
That has been like any of the episodes we've done about contraception, I have loved, and particularly because there's always women in the comments saying, wow, I went and I got my contraception after listening to you guys. I didn't know this about the contraception and now I'm gonna go get one. They just make me feel like I am making tangible change in a way that is improving women's lives.
Yeah.
And that just feels so great to me.
Yeah.
But particularly I've loved the series on uncomfortable truths.
Those are uncomfortable truths about life.
About life,
really good one.
Uncomfortable truths and unpopular opinions have always been amazing because one, there's always somebody in the comments willing to fight with us. And they're like, yeah, can't we fight then? Can't we fight then? Exactly. Because that's about relationships, about like, oh, your man is gonna cheat on you, your man is whatever. Like there's always just someone fighting, you know, kind of thing. And I've loved those ones because they have generated the kind of conversations we want to be having. And sometimes it's not like we're sharing our opinion so everyone can have the same opinion. We're sharing so that you guys can also now come and say, no, me, I think this, so that anyone who's like in the comments can be like, okay, so there are these 5 different points of view, which one appeals to me or which one aligns with my values. And I love that.
Most people don't take it like this though.
I know
a lot of people tend to take it like what we are saying as our opinion because we are the ones with the mic is Bible. It's absolutely no. We just happen to have the mic.
Exactly.
But I think as TMI has grown, people have learned to disagree that way. To understand that no, this is just my opinion and yours is valid, yours is valid, yours is valid, yours is valid. And I like that community now where when you go in the comments, you're going to hear other people's point of view, even if it's different from yours. But we're not fighting anymore. I love that. The comment section has fighting
because you guys have seen you come and fight with us in a disrespectful way and kind way. You're blocked.
Block.
And because on YouTube, what I love is like you're able to block, so you'll still see my videos. You just won't be able to comment. You'll be able to do nothing. You'll be able to like, unlike I don't know what.
Yeah, there was a point where it's like the comment section was just like where you can relieve your stress about your man. I'm sorry. No. I'm so sorry.
It's not our
fault. What's going on, you know? Like, so I'm so glad that we are in that space for sure. Yeah,
I know.
There's so many amazing episodes. If when I go through them, I'm just like, oh yeah. But those ones are the ones which stick in my mind.
And sometimes I go and I click on a random one, like just because the thumbnail came up. You know, sometimes like when you just search Kenya podcast or something like one of them will just come up and just watch it. I'm just laughing because I literally don't remember shooting some of those episodes. Like some of them I'll just like watch and I was like, wow, hey, we are funny.
Yeah.
Wow, we are so funny.
I
love
really
us.
Funny. I feel like we're entertaining.
You think so?
Sure. As much as people love TMI, I feel like I love TMI as well.
Yeah.
You haven't watched an episode, I don't think, this year, have you?
No, for sure, no.
Yeah. I have. I've watched a few.
I've definitely watched our snippets. Yeah.
Yeah, and things people are pretending to like. I really love that one.
Oh yeah, exactly. Ooh. And what's funnier to me is even what comes out afterwards. The things people say.
Yeah.
I could die.
What's your favorite episode, guys? If you're watching on YouTube, please let us know what your favorite episodes, something you learned from any of them. We want this to be like, kind of a little, let's come together and look back.
Exactly.
And look back kind of episode.
So if you think back to when we started the podcast, that was 2021.
Yeah, 2021.
2021. Yeah. Versus you now. What would you say has changed? Like your personal life, your professional life, your career?
Everything has changed.
Yeah. Like
everything. First of all, me as a person, I've completely changed. I had just finished the 5 a.m. club, and literally from there it feels like my life kind of started. That's when everything started aligning as far as my career, and I guess it's because of the discipline that came, and that's exactly why I did it. The discipline that came, I started working really well, and I was kind of now comfortable as being a content creator in the last 2 years anyway. When we first started TMI, I had just gotten into a relationship. Ooh. Obviously, I'm not in a relationship anymore. As far as wellness, I've always wanted wellness to be like what's heading, what I'm about, and what I'm known for. And actually, of recent, I've realized that I have a really powerful brand.
Yeah.
And I feel like I am in the position, in the shoes I've always dreamt of being, talking about the things that I care about. Yeah, well, for me, the landscape of my life is like, who was that?
Yeah,
I've moved apartment twice.
Oh God, yeah, you have. Fucking hell, jeez. Is anything about your life the same as what?
Nothing. Even some of my views. I remember I think we talked about breakups when we first started.
Yeah.
Literally, I would never handle a breakup the way I talked about it 2 years ago.
so well,
Yeah.
now obviously because you've now been built by experience.
And no, not even that. Like even my intention with this last breakup was very different.
Very different.
All the things I was saying then, I was like,
excuse me.
No.
Me.
Now I know how to deal with a breakup in a way where you actually process instead of just kind of hiding and running. You know. Yeah. So everything for me is different.
It's so funny. Like as you're speaking, I'm like, oh yeah, so many things are different. But yet in my mind, it just feels like you've just always been the same lady.
No.
It just feels like kind of the same.
It's different.
Now you don't read as much as you were reading that time. You used to like every morning journal, affirm, read, do what? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
What?
But reading is what I struggle with. I still meditate. I'm still working out. Thank God. I've gone back to the gym. I still do my affirmations. I've been going to church consistently.
That's she has been going to church consistently.
Yeah, church is great. Yeah, and I drive quite 30 minutes. But when it's a club, of course, I will be there.
No, but
1 hour only.
But Sunday morning there's no traffic, so that makes sense. If you had to go that same distance, but on a Friday afternoon, you wouldn't go. That's the thing. Wow. Okay, fine. For me, I would say some things have changed, but not like I wouldn't say like a lot. Major change being my kids are older. I measure everything in my life according to how old my kids are. By the way,
you can't wait for them.
Not even necessarily that. It's just that I remember there's very specific struggles you go through at different ages in the child's life. So I remember like when we started the podcast, Tana was 1. She was literally a baby. When I see her now versus how it was then, I'm just like, it's completely different in my mind, completely different. So, and Kenny was Tana's age that Tana is right now, which is crazy to me. So I'm like, my kids are older. My husband moved away, obviously, even though that's a recent change. I know, right? I opened Wild. I bought a new car. I mean, actually, yesterday I was at Wild and I had gone to the toilet and I was walking back towards my car, which was parked right in front of Wild by Murugi, which is my brand. Follow us on Instagram. And I just looked at my car and my shop and I was just like, this time last year, I didn't have any of those.
This time last year?
Yes, this time last year, I didn't have any of those. And I was just like, wow, the importance of discipline and consistency and working hard and like having a goal and saying, okay, me, I want to do this by this date and actually doing it.
Yeah, and
that for me, and putting in the work.
Day in,
I feel like I definitely feel like I'm the same Murugi, but I definitely feel like I've grown. First of all, just knowing you, having conversations with you, all the things that we've been through. Like I've been through maybe a couple of shit storms in the past 2 years on not even on TMI, just like on my own page, just like me as Murugi. And those definitely always help you grow, even whether or not you are in the wrong. I feel like there's definitely something that can be learned for every fire that you go through, for sure.
I feel like you're softer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as she gently tucks in my dress. I feel like you're softer. I feel like also you appreciate like the value of softness. Whereas when I first met you, I feel like it was like really intense energy and it was like that's all you kind of saw yourself as, like go this but now I can see you seeing yourself as, I want to rest, I don't have to do this, I want boundaries, I want to go to the spa. You know, there's so many
These are making me sound lazy.
No. See, that's the thing. You used to be so much like that. Whereas the truth is like you go to the spa, but then you spend the next 3 days like working your ass off it, you know? And then also because you have Wild, what working hard is has also been redefined a bit. That's it.
You know? Exactly.
So I can see a major difference in who you are as a person.
Okay. I feel like the change I see in you is that I feel like your life is richer.
Yeah.
I feel like at that time, at the beginning of your relationship, not that there's anything wrong with it, but you know how like when now you're in love, so much of your time, your energy, your resources, so much is spent in the bubble. Exactly. It's just being in that bubble. It's like if you're not here at work, you're gonna be with your man. You're out with your man. You're at lunch with your man. You know, like all the time. But like now I feel like this single era has kind of forced you to enrich your life with other things that are just Lydia. Like when I see you swimming and spending more time with your friends and I don't know, having the events that you're doing, your workshops and stuff, like your life just seems so full now, you know, like so many different elements of Lydia, which I love.
Remember what I told you guys, life gets better as you get better, right? I can't promise you that when I get back into a relationship.
No, it's fine. And that's why we're enjoying it now.
So enjoy it now.
Because when you disappear, me, I'll be it's fine. You know, do what you need to do.
It's like a relationship. It's a season, you know?
Yeah.
And when you're single, and I think we were saying this, even when I was in a relationship, I was saying this about being, when you're single, your job is to enrich your life, to look around and all you see is like people who love you, people who care about you. You are immersed in activities that matter to you, you know? You enrich in your life so that when somebody else does come, they come and find you in this wholeness, right?
Exactly.
And so that when they leave,
you're not left with nothing. Yeah,
who leave. The rest of your life stays that way.
Exactly.
You know. And there's a lot of friendships. Dr. Vundi, Terembe, and Sharon weren't my friends pre-breakup.
TMI.
Funny enough.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which was just last year, and they have been a big part of like enriching my life as well.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Actually, funny enough, when I look back, I was happy then when we first started TMI. But now it's a different happiness.
Yeah.
It's a different happiness.
I know.
And it's a happiness that feels like it belongs to me.
Exactly. And does it feel like, even I feel the same way, I feel like the happiness that I have right now is not like circumstantial based on the circumstances of where my life is right now. Because there are some things which are uncomfortable, some things which are difficult, like my man not being here.
Still
but
riding,
I just still feel happy and just like content. I think that comes with just living authentically.
I think so, because you get to be more aligned with what matters, so you have enough of that in your life, you know. So it doesn't feel like, oh, I need to have X amount here, or this needs to have happened, and all of it just feels like, as long as I'm me in this my life, I'm going to be okay. Funny enough, every a prayer I say every day when I wake up. Actually, as soon as I wake up, when I start praying, the first thing I say is, "Thank you, God, that the day didn't start without me."
I love that. Every time I see it, I'm just like, wow.
Every time I think about it, it's just like, what day in all our shitstorms would you be like, God, actually, no.
I'd rather do that. No. Aye, that has never, by the way, me that has never crossed my mind. No. I'm just like, this sucks, but you know.
I know this is burning.
Yeah.
It's hellfire.
Yeah.
But at least I'm here. We'll
exactly. Life is definitely one of those things people take for granted. It's just like, anyways, we'll just be alive tomorrow. Will you?
Will you?
Will you?
Yeah.
Damn.
So someone say, like, someone is making dinner plans for tomorrow that they won't make.
That's why.
That's
why?
So
Come
I know.
on.
I shared because I
saying?
felt bad.
Don't.
Must everyone?
You must ruin
bad. Everyone.
Oh God, that's horrible. Anyway, yeah. So it's been 2 years, 2 tumultuous but also exciting years.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's not been a breeze. I would say definitely it's not been a breeze. We've been
TMI.
through, yeah,
TMI.
TMI.
But even TMI.
Yeah, both, but TMI. There's so many things that we've been through that perhaps were not. For example, the amount of money it has taken for us to sustain this podcast.
Just close your eyes and scream.
Yeah, exactly. Please,
when you see us trying to tell you, subscribe so that we can continue making money, because this, guys, it's not easy.
It definitely, it actually annoys me so much when I go somewhere, like I go on a platform and I see someone saying, now why are people being paid? Why are these guys being paid? Do you how many hundreds of thousands to do this? But it's just, you just pick up your phone and record. If you guys know the amount of work, energy, tireless resources that go into this podcast, not counting makeup and clothing and production, our team, our social media, our PA locations, like food. I mean, a lot goes into TMI. And I feel like at the beginning, perhaps we hadn't thought about how much it would cost.
So. I do not.
By the way, we hadn't even done research at all about how much it costs to pay a production team.
I like you. You know how to talk.
See, we talk.
Let's take a mic. You take a mic. Let's go.
And then that's what we did. And
but we have faced a lot of bumps on the road for sure. We changed production teams at some point, and that was, we would not say that was a harmonious, conscious uncoupling.
We would for sure, it's not a conscious uncoupling.
It was not a conscious uncoupling, and that taught us so many things. But when you're in it, guys, I don't know if you remember, like, you know, Inbetweeners will remember
December 2021.
Yes, we shot an episode on Joe's phone at her Airbnb, front camera.
Insert thumbnail here. And I remember it was for New Year's, because we were about to break for New Year's. And that was even why we ended up leaving that production house. Because we were like, we need to shoot an episode. We didn't want to miss an episode.
Yeah. And we did it front camera because we had no one there to show us.
God.
To show us, are we in the... I don't even think... Nance, were you our PA then?
No. You were our PA? Why did you come to the shoot to shoot us back camera? Jeez.
Anyway, we did it with
and
the
funny thing,
camera.
We were feeling kind of... no mics. We were feeling kind of conscious, and Matatu's just... We were feeling so conscious about that episode, and funny enough, not a single person mentioned it in the comments.
I know.
It was just kind of just like,
they're talking.
They're just talking. And that made us realize something so powerful is that people are here for content. The strength of our content, not necessarily the production value. We love the production value, and we love especially when you guys notice like, it was such a nice set, or you guys, the lights were so bright, you guys look nice, the colors. But like what we know you're here for is the content. Exactly.
Content is
and that
king.
For us is just amazing.
Yeah. And I remember when that day when we shot it, remember we were telling each other, this is a story we'll tell.
We're gonna tell.
We didn't even know who would be telling. But we're just like, this is a story we'll tell. How much we persevered and we pushed through, and we wanted to be it was just because we want to be consistent. We didn't want a week to come. We were just like, for unforeseen circumstances or whatever, we didn't put an episode up. And here we are telling the story.
With our third production company.
Is it third?
Yeah, Lumina. Did we not just start with Lumina yesterday?
God's sake. Yeah. Third.
Drama follow me. We are on our third. Yeah.
On our third.
Anyway,
we're going strong.
We are going strong with this one. And we know that this one will take us mpaka Maju. This is the one. We definitely got a boost by getting the Spotify grant. That was a huge I would say it's an exhale. An exhale, because before that, even though we were focused on the content, a lot of it also was just like, we need money to keep this content going. At some point, we were reaching into our own pockets to sustain we were using our
reaching, not like far, because there was nothing in this pot. So it was our own pockets. We were reaching. Then
we didn't even have a TMI bank account because we had no money.
There was no what for? To collect space
and pay taxes.
Nothing.
We didn't have money.
And
my God.
There was actually 2021. December and January. Dustbin days.
If TMI was going
February,
to end,
March, actually. Of 2022.
Actually, we would have the whole first part of 2022, I would say,
was just like, rough.
If TMI was ever going to like end, it would have been then. Because we went through a lot. We were literally like having to pay a lot in lawyers' fees and doing contracts and things like that. That was the time that we discovered the importance of having contracts.
That's the time. And also we have a contract between
the two of us. One thing we've said is that if one of us dies, there's no more TMI.
Or if one of us quits, there's no more TMI.
Hey, wait, the one for quits, is it there?
That's it, Like, TMI is me and you, done. So if I'm not there, you're not there.
So I can come here and continue shooting, but I won't say TMI.
It won't be TMI.
I'll just say messy in between. MI.
MI, guys! So we've learned a lot so much. And I think we had a great support system. Even those who are not among us in our team who are really like holding us together, because it was so easy to have quit. Then I remember mom was just telling me like every story like of triumph is going to come with like lessons, and these are like growing pains, because we were only like 6 months then, and it's just like, this is just a beginning. You can't let this thing be the reason why you don't continue. So we had people in our ears who are also
definitely encouraging us.
So we were able
Zach, I remember, was very encouraging that time. And
we're on all the times, all the
four-way phone calls, just like, no, we can't let this happen.
And us, we're just like, are you sure, really? But they're like, no, this is unacceptable.
I was like, are we being emotional? Or like, is this actually, is someone trying to stiff us? Please.
We really had we had a support system that kept us going. And sometimes we can't always come here and be like, oh guys, guess what? Because some things we just need to get through and then tell you in retrospect.
Exactly, later on.
But you supported us, and every time we saw like you guys were loving the content, even though you didn't know that that's what you were doing, you were encouraging us to keep going. Like, it's okay, we just know it's for now. It's just chewing all our money now, but eventually it will be good.
That definitely has been an amazing lesson. I would say another lesson I've learned in this 100 episodes is the importance of pushing through even when you're not liking something. Do you know what I mean? It's like at the beginning of TMI, it's like very exciting. Lydia and I were doing everything for TMI. We were literally doing social media. We were our own PAs. We were uploading. We were captions, thumbnails, literally everything, responding to comments, DMs. Everything was us.
I have a headache.
Literally, I have a headache as well. And actually, when I think back at that Murugi and Lydia, I'm just like, wow, they were so tenacious.
We did that.
That's
and then we
fantastic.
Had our own, then you have life.
Exactly. It's like it was a lot. And at some point, I think we kind of, not even we got tired of doing it, but we realized we needed help for us to get TMI to where it wanted to be. But like sometimes, there are times we come to shoot and like we're really not in the mood. There are times we start an episode where we're just like, ugh, you know, I don't really want to have to talk about this. But always the episode is fire. Because one thing about us, we may be like this. Beryl says 3, 2, 1. Hi guys, Murugi Munyi here. And welcome to it. That's us. And it's not performing, by the way. It's just, even for us, we want to feel that energy amongst ourselves. Not just for you guys, amongst ourselves.
For sure. Like, it will help you feel like you're in love with the episode. Something which keeps ringing true to my mind recently is that only the disciplined ones are free. And that's Eliud Kipchoge who said that. And it's like, you don't really get it, but when you look back, the freedom of having what we've wanted has been given to us because of being disciplined, you know, because of being tenacious and pushing through and coming on days when you can't be bothered. But the feeling of that moment is not at the forefront. It's what I want to achieve out of this, you know. And I love that we can do that for each other.
I love that as well.
What else have I learned? I've learned about the power of vulnerability. Like, I mean, I guess I always knew, but TMI has really forced us to look into ourselves and have conversations that sometimes are super thought-provoking and triggering for us. I know it seems like, oh, we are bringing the conversation so we are comfortable with it. Nope. Half the time, it's literally like you can feel the growth. Like, you can just feel yourself expanding because of all the conversations you're able to have. And sometimes looking back and having conversations, you end up thinking like, do I really think that? Or why did I say it that way? Or, you know, it helps you be more self-introspective. So I feel like, we have grown as people. This has been therapy sessions.
Actually, it has. Actually, having some conversations. Sometimes even, it's not like we pre-plan so much in advance what we're going to talk about. So sometimes you sit here and then like Lydia asks a question and I'm like, wow. And then you think of the answer and you're just like, is that actually how I feel? Is that actually what I think?
Always.
Like, wow. And then you really start to question even some of the things that you've just always assumed about the way that you live, about the values that you have. Definitely the power of vulnerability. I've said many times that I feel like I'm able to be a different me on TMI than I can be on my own page, because I just feel like, I don't know, this is just like a safe space.
There's just something different.
A funny thing I was also thinking about earlier, for the kind of content that we create, we really haven't been cancelled at all on social media. Like, I've seen, sometimes I'll go on Twitter and see like some hate messages. Like the other day I saw, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, someone saying, anyway, these girls, wacha tu warudi hapo wapake my makeup and go and say me in a trash or something like that. I'm like, wow, is that how people perceive us? Is that what how it comes across?
It's because that's what you want to hear based on who you are. But the truth is, if you listen to our episodes, we speak way more than that. Also, the other day I saw also a comment about me as well, and someone was just like, so it was like a video I had done like years ago that was on like the Zado page. It's like, that's where my car gets fixed and stuff. And someone had said, so this influencer of sex and healing is also doing for cars. I was like, sex and healing. So I was like, you definitely watch TMI and you definitely are on my page. So I can see the combination of the two. Because TMI is known as the sex podcast. Really? The sex podcast. And of course, my page, I guess, is all about healing. But you know, I was just like, okay, if I'm going to be known for other things, sex and healing influence, I'll take it.
At least, yeah.
I will take it.
But Kwani, what's wrong with advertising for cars? Why do you have an issue with that?
When people box you, they need you to stay in that box.
They need you because, that makes sense.
Why are you getting out of the box that I've put you in? Whoa, you're making me uncomfortable. Don't be multifaceted.
Don't you? That's how I feel about when people now will say something like, oh, you're married with 3 kids and you can come and talk about things like masturbation and sex and whatever, because they have boxed me in, and to them, if you're married with kids, you cannot possibly be talking about masturbation. How
and we
dare
respect that we are thought-provoking, and some of the conversations that we have are not easy for people to have. But if every time you're watching us you feel aggravated, the aggravation is your reaction, so that's that's your experience. Let's talk about it.
Let's have a conversation.
What about TMI triggers you? Let's discuss. If you're watching on YouTube, tell us what triggers you, and please speak from the point of view of what triggers you, not us doing anything wrong, because we're not doing anything wrong. What triggers you? I see that. There's also someone, I mean, she was saying it from a genuine curiosity place, from what I saw anyway, and she was saying, what's it like, when do we get to a place where, you know, women are just talking about sex like this openly? And then somebody else was just like, hata mimi ndio nashangaa, or something like that. And there is a group that would just never elevate beyond it, and that's okay. Yeah. Not everyone's going to come along in this quest to move the needle forward.
Exactly.
Not everyone's going to come.
Yeah, the issue I have with that is that women specifically, and not men, because men can talk about sex in any context and just be like, oh, men will be men, but when it's a woman, it's worth a conversation. Yeah. Because women will be going through, all of us, the exact same issue. You're having pain during sex and you don't know what to do about it. She's having pain during sex, and I am. But we are not going to be able to solve our problems because all of us are too ashamed to have an open conversation about it. But if I just come out and say, oh my God, I've been feeling pain during sex, you'll be like, me too. Or for me, it's this. Or for me, it's this. Then we're able to actually have a conversation, and now we can help. I can be like, oh, this is what worked for me. You go try. You try it, and then now it works for you, and all our lives are made better. Yeah. If we don't have conversations about these things, and sex is one of them, we are all having sex. But when it comes to saying the word sex out loud is where we draw the line. Yeah. You're sleeping with all your neighbors, but when we are saying the word sex, now it's taboo. Yeah. Anyway. Anyway.
Not all your neighbors.
Yeah, but us saying the word sex out loud.
Saying it. Talking about it.
Where
out.
Also, some part of me feels like we have conversations that other people wish they could be having with their friends, and that in itself could be triggering. Yeah. It's just like,
fair enough.
I wish I could speak to my friends about sex. I wish I could speak to my friends about money. I wish I could speak to my friends about friendship or whatever. You know, and I feel like if that's what it is, then intrinsically ask yourself, why can't you speak with your friends like that? Why can't you be in spaces where you have such conversations?
Yeah, I heard I don't remember the exact quote like altogether. But it basically said that shame is killed by words. Once you open up and you talk about something, shame tends to die. Yeah. It's like as you speak about it. And that idea for me that we are all suffering in silence makes me feel like I am actively participating in a narrative that's hurting me or hurting my kind, Yes. So if me, part of it is just being open and speaking up, I'm going to speak up for sure. Yeah.
I wish I could be here like maybe 50 years from now, and then now there are 25 podcasts about sex, all just about sex. Also, another thing we've learned as we've grown. Initially, when we started the podcast, we were like, we want to have these 6 pillars. These are our pillars for TMI: sex, friendship, relationships, career, money, family. Obviously, as time went by, because the conversations about sex are the most memorable and are the ones which no one else is having, then obviously we started getting known as the sex podcast. And initially, I remember we had a problem with that.
Yeah, we didn't want to.
We were like, we don't want to be known as the sex girl. But after some time, it was just like, great.
Yeah. And actually, the only reason why we're known as a sex podcast is because of, first of all, where we are creating this podcast. If we were a podcast anywhere else, this wouldn't be a big deal, right? But because we are in the African landscape, of course, these are conversations that are still really taboo. And the funny thing about things that are taboo or things that are trying to be hidden by society is that our top episode is things you need to stop doing this during sex, has 500,000 views, over 500,000 views. So crazy. Is it taboo?
Crazy.
So what is it? What is happening here?
There you are.
Because if technically it was nobody wanted to talk about this and we were just like,
but you're all secretly watching.
Jezebels.
Yeah, exactly.
If we were the only Jezebels, the sex ones would not be the first one. Go and check the popular
Somebody's lying, and it's not us.
Lying. It's not us.
It's not us.
It's not us. Because if you're here watching, I mean, the numbers don't lie. So people want these kind of conversations, but it's like they're almost angry that you're the ones.
Exactly. It's like, how dare you? How dare you?
Yeah.
And funny enough, us talking about sex is what has been our biggest bag so far for TMI.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding,
so
bloody ding.
That thing about you that you don't want to talk about, that you want to hide, that you don't want to be known for, could be your key to your bag. But because you don't want to keep talking about it, because you don't want people to think you're a certain way, now you've blocked your bag.
Millions are waiting you.
Literally.
But despite the fact that we do talk about sex and sometimes we are quite crass and we say all of these like nasty stuff, generally speaking, I feel like our goal has always been to have open conversations where we're adding value to the conversation. So it's not just this is what's happening with us. It's like sometimes we'll come and have conversations about like things that problems that you might be having in sex, things that we want to help you like to educate you on, So despite the fact some of it is just like silly girl talk, there's a lot of it which I feel like I think we're doing a great job, especially people who are like early on, like 18, 20, like 21, that age group who is just like you're so lost in what's happening with yourself, with your body, with boys, 30s, I feel like those are the people who most
those
appreciate
are the ones,
us.
yeah. And actually, when we were starting TMI, I didn't think that would be our demographic.
Me too.
I thought it would be like
exactly.
I was like, obviously, young people don't want to listen to what we have to say.
Yeah.
But by far, the majority is people who are like getting into uni, like young adults, people in their like 18 to 25, I would say, or even before 30. A lot of them are just like, wow, I'm so glad I've been able to see this when I'm this young, so I can make the right decision. And I just keep feeling like, wow, if only we had
that.
We had that.
Yeah. And that's what you tend to be. You tend to grow up, if you do have the courage to follow in your purpose, you tend to grow up to be what you wish you had, right? Because I wish I had people talking about this openly, and how to navigate relationships and friendships and those kind of things. Do you feel like the reason why that's our demographic is because they're more open-minded?
Yeah, I think so. I think definitely. And they're a lot more impressionable at that age. So it's like they're still in the place where they're trying to form their beliefs. It's like you've seen so much about LGBTQ. Am I pro them? Am I what? Could I myself be queer? I have these feelings. So it's like they're still in that place where they're still trying to decide, like, who am I? I feel like in your 30s, you've kind of solidly set. Oh, okay, you can still change, but like you kind of know, I like this during sex. I don't like this. This is the kind of conversation that you've lived enough to know the things you like, the things you don't like, what your stand is on abortion and LGBTQ and just big issues. You know where you stand. But like with young people, I feel like there's just so much information that if they find a source they can trust, they can be like, this makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Also,
guys.
me when I'm speaking, I always imagine I'm just talking to Nelly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
I feel like I'm just like, what is the things that I would want her to learn from my life so that she's not there? The other day, I literally, like, it was the night before, she went to Diani. That was like Monday. And I was just telling her, at her age, when I was 19, I was pregnant. And I'm like, now when I watch her, I'm just like, it's almost like as if I'm seeing how life would be like for me if I hadn't gotten pregnant. And which it can sound negative, but I see it from a more positive side because I feel like I want her to have watched my life, which started off a bit difficult at that 19, but turned out great. But I want her to not have to go through the difficult things I had to go through to get to where the great part is, know. And so many times I'm just speaking, I'm always just like, this is what I want her to get from this episode, that you don't let a man speak to you in a certain way and that you always stand up. And if at any point you want to say no, even if all clothes are off, you say no.
Yeah.
That's all things I always thinking.
I love that. Yeah. Funny enough, I think sometimes when I visualize, I think I'm speaking to a younger me, right? So it's not my sister.
Wow, yeah.
I feel like my sister, we've kind of grown up together in that I feel like there's not much, maybe I'll say that I feel like she's never heard or something like that. Because we're quite close in age. But when I think about it, I think of what younger me would have cared for, or like would have wanted advice on. So I feel like when I do speak, I think of the 18, 20, 25 kind of people, but also we love the people who are like our age or even older who are open enough to be like, do you know what, my perspective is allowed to be different. Like, when I listen, I can change my mind. I can decide that today I'm thinking about something different as opposed to just sitting and judging, so yeah, we appreciate you too. We do.
You too being?
As in...
Oh, the old guys.
Us, people who are our age.
We also have people who are like in their 50s, in their 60s.
Many,
like, which is amazing. But what I've noticed about that demographic of people is that there are people in their 50s and 60s who are kind of just like, no, you guys, you shouldn't be having conversations like this. And there are others who are just like, wow, I'm so glad you young girls are challenging. You know what it means. And I mean, to be honest, us, we're just here for the feedback. So we take it as it comes. Then it's not going to change what we are doing because we love what we are doing. But it's honestly really, really great to see how people at different levels in their lives take different things from different episodes. It can be one episode, but literally the things people learn are completely different.
And I feel like that's why you should know that your view on what you're watching is about you. It's not about the other person because there's too many views.
There are too many views
about us. It's the same kind of content. So it's really more about you and what you're seeing.
Exactly.
I met Caroline Mutuku and she was talking to us and she was just like, I love what you guys are doing. So there's that, like who you just said, like demographic who are like, this is amazing. Also parents of young girls who they can't have these conversations with them. So
and
they
like,
send their daughters to us so that they can hear it because they're just never going to have these conversations, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But we are willing.
We are willing.
We are willing.
And the people who hate on us sometimes saying that like, this is what you want your kids to learn.
Yeah. Actually, there's nothing on here I've ever said that would just be like, if my daughter came to me and said, I'll be like, unacceptable. No. At your age of 5, you don't need to be listening to this. And I don't expect your daughters at 5, Kenny's age, because you always say, people are always saying about your kids. It's like, no, they won't watch this because they're 5.
There's someone who was telling us that I was watching this with my 9-year-old, or was it 11-year-old, who were like, girl, BFFR.
No.
BFFR.
This content is for obviously
for over
adults.
18.
If my adult daughter heard this, there's nothing I would take back.
Exactly.
There are some views which is like have changed, but I would be able to explain it, but I wouldn't feel shame or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hope they can grow up knowing that it's just like, I'm free. And can you imagine how confident they are going to be?
Please.
Knowing that this is what we do.
This
for
is my
living.
mom. Oh, wow.
Gosh.
Love that for you, Mukeni.
Wow.
Love that for you, Mutana. Love that for you, Ethan, as well. I love that for you.
We can do more for the boys.
Yeah, I guess
we can.
We definitely want to have more in our 100 episodes. How many have been collabs? Kit, Shiv, over 25, RIP, and is that it?
No.
Chris. Anyone else? Oh,
Man Talk.
Oh, Man Talk. Oh yeah, 5 out. That
was one of our favorite episodes
20,
as well.
Is that 20%? No, it's not 20%.
It's not even. Oh my god.
A 20th. It's a 20th. But that's 0.2%. Okay, fine.
We're bringing a guest on soon.
Let's stop shouting out random things.
No, that one.
You know, just say things.
We said we had planned, but it's only because we're.
Have we planned
episode.
though?
Huh?
Oh, have we planned?
We hadn't planned because we are doing the 100th episode.
Don't listen to us. But you know, maybe the problem is that between her and I, there's so much fire here. There's so much wisdom here that even we're just like, wow.
We're just lazy.
Yeah.
Just say we're
I
lazy
definitely feel like I would love to have more men on our set.
Our next guest is a man.
Yeah, and I would love more men. Like, I would love us to have a lot more guests to be men, because we definitely give a skewed towards women perspective because we are women. Yes, exactly. And so a lot of the things, and I feel bad sometimes for our 30% audience who are male, because they listen and then maybe they'll give their thoughts in the comments, but I would love to have the male perspective sometimes.
It would be so good.
Yeah.
And what it's like, we find it annoying when men are on a podcast talking about women, things that they probably don't have no idea what it's like.
Because of one woman told you, now you think it's
and we don't want to also put ourselves in a position where we know what men are thinking.
No, we
so
don't.
That's why most of the time we talk about our own perspective, because that's the one that we know. But yeah, we're going to have more male guests.
And sometimes when we're talking about male perspective, it'll be that we've asked them on Instagram and they have shared with us. Like that time you said, what men turns off men about you, something like that.
Yeah.
Remember that episode?
Turn-offs, yeah.
Turn-offs, exactly. Men's turn-offs about like women or something like that. So yeah, we definitely want to have more collabs. I'm not even going to ask you guys to leave them in the comments, because we know a million times.
The four you always say all the time.
Say the same ones. So we are definitely going to have them. 100 episodes on. If you had to start the podcast all over again, is there anything you would do differently?
God, everything that we do differently almost came with something positive, which is like now we keep. Like our video and drama with like the previous production team made us smarter as far as contracts. And
we would start with contracts. Just say that. We would start the podcast with contracts.
Yeah. No, we did have contracts.
Oh, did
contracts that were read.
Oh, that were that were read and understood. The same way. Yeah,
in the same way.
That for sure.
That's what we'll definitely start with for sure.
Oh my gosh, I feel like if we were to start again, I would also like do a budget, because I feel like even till today, actually today I think is the first time we've actually ever done like
a budget.
This is how much
the ground.
We fell on the
ground.
ground, like
spend a month.
In a month, we were just like, excuse me, it's unbelievable. We never actually sat down and were just like, okay, if we don't have the backing of, I don't know, these other supporting guys, if we had to pay for production, we didn't actually sit down and be like, how much does it cost to sustain a podcast?
But funny enough, despite that, I feel like I'm glad that we didn't, because would we? If we did the math of today, then no way. Excuse me, Ati, how many that,
no,
we wouldn't
okay,
have done it.
we wouldn't.
So I feel like there's a naivety that made us really hungry, like to get it done.
So that now when a challenge comes, just like, oops,
let's go.
We need to get this. Okay,
So we have this challenge, and now we've done this budget. Please, Joanne.
Yeah, it's true.
It would have been too much. It would have been
a lot.
Too much. Yeah. Contracts earlier on for sure.
I think I would have had us hire a social media manager earlier.
I literally just looked at her ban. I was like, yes,
for sure. Because I feel like to some extent we really allowed ourselves to get burnt out at the beginning of TMI.
We were.
It was important for us to put in that work just so that we can understand what it takes to keep the platforms running.
Yeah.
But thinking that we could have our own pages running and our businesses and our life, and then this one, wow. Remember, you used to do the captions. Babe, you're doing captions. I'm doing thumbnail.
Captions,
it's 11:12. It's 11:27.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it used to be a lot. I definitely would have done that earlier. Could we have afforded it earlier, actually?
Guess what? I now feel different about Wednesdays because of uploads. Like, because I knew those were the days.
It was diarrhea Wednesday.
It was diarrhea
That's
Wednesday.
what we would call it. Diarrhea
Wednesday. To do it. But I feel like that's part of why I love TMI.
Yeah.
All of that graft, all of those confusions and no understanding.
I could have done without it.
Really?
I could have done without it.
I think I've loved it. And now I feel like if everything stopped, we'd still be able to do it ourselves.
If everything
Dear
stopped
God,
in
if
terms
you leave
of...
us,
Don't.
we would kill ourselves. I would die tomorrow.
Die.
But I'm saying it's like we know how it runs on its own because had we had help from the beginning,
we wouldn't even know how is the thing uploaded.
Yeah, what's Anchor? What's so that you get to learn the ins and outs of the business so that it's like you get help more to delegate more than dependency.
Yeah. That being said, I don't want to dissuade people who want to start podcasts. There are podcasts which I know which are running very well and successfully, where the only thing that they use is an iPhone to record and to upload. The reason ours costs what it does is because of the quality we have chosen to go with.
Yeah.
There are many people, in fact, most podcasts aren't even video podcasts. So like many podcasts will just be like the audio.
That's
but
very
for us,
low cost.
Which is
sure.
Exactly. But for us, actually, the video is what makes it like cost as much as it does. But for us, I feel like we always wanted that. In fact, it didn't even occur to me to not have it any other way. Yeah. I feel like definitely that's what we wanted. And then we want a certain look and feel. Aesthetic. We want a certain set. We want these kinds of lights. We want great editing. And for you to have those things, you have to pay for them, obviously. So it's not that it's super expensive to run a podcast depending on who your partners are and what you are willing to do yourself. Because if, for example, it's your full-time job, then you have time to edit everything and to upload everything and whatnot, to do your own social media. But for us, we just can't.
No, we just can't. Actually, to be honest, when I look back, there's many things that could have been different, but there's nothing which I feel like that was the end of the world and it kind of has a mark on me. I think everything was just like a part of what we had to figure out as TMI. But now we are smarter, we are stronger, we are more disciplined, we know what we want. And I can't wait for another 100 episodes.
So if you had to give advice to like someone who wants to start a podcast now or a new creator, whether it's audio, video, what would you tell them based off of our experience for these 100 episodes?
Yeah, I think we said this already. If you're not consistent, I don't think this is the place for you.
Don't bother.
Don't bother, honestly. And that's the thing. I think with so much success with content creation, if you look, there's one common denominator in everything, and that's consistency. If you're not willing to get up and show, and when I'm doing content creation consultations, I always tell someone it's like your audience are like you're in a relationship, right? So the boyfriend who doesn't show up when they say they would, that's a red flag.
Or they come every 3 months.
Whatever. The boyfriend who doesn't give you explanation as to why things haven't happened the way that they were happening. The boyfriend who doesn't listen to you. The boyfriend who doesn't ask you for your feedback. If you think about it from that perspective, you as a content creator, I feel it's like once you start like creating that relationship, you just have to be super invested in like respecting the people who follow you and showing up for them. Just that. Just showing up.
Exactly.
So consistency number one.
Number one, regardless of what it is that you're going through. I feel like even if we were going through a lot and we had to stop the podcast, we wouldn't just stop and then we're just not there. Like we would come, like the time when the 1 week that we have missed up TMI upload, which is when I had COVID, we came and you said, this is why we don't have an episode up. We wouldn't just not show up and then after a month be like, hey guys, sorry. Hey, we have come back. Sorry guys. Now we are back. We're going to be consistent.
Yeah.
It's actually so annoying. funny thing, I feel like since we started TMI, I have seen other podcasts come and go in Kenya. I have seen podcasts with really great content, but they give you 4 episodes and then it's like, oh, we'll be back. We haven't heard from them since. Which is crazy because I feel like there's so much potential with regards to like the podcast space in Kenya. I just feel it feels really wide open. Kwanza in the male space.
I know.
The male space is wide open.
There's actually 2 content creators who are talking about doing a podcast, which I thought was such a phenomenal idea, but I guess they haven't started it.
Yeah.
It's open, but I guess, let's say, especially with a lot of creators, you're making money here on your other platforms. So you started this thing that is not going to make you a cent in a while. I feel like that starting off is what most people are kind of a bit reluctant to, and that's why they don't invest in it. And that's why there has to be a bigger why. Why are you doing this?
There has to be a bigger why.
Because if it's cash, you're out there.
Yeah. It has been 100 episodes, and I wouldn't even say we've made money.
Yeah.
I would say we have covered our costs.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, we've covered our costs.
Yeah, money has come.
Money has come.
But have we made it? Have we made it is the question.
But I feel, but you see that actually that aspect of like the bigger why, because for us, I love TMI. Even if it was the next 2-3 years with us not actually taking home a bag of money. Girl, I'd be fine as long as we are covering our costs and it makes sense for us to keep doing the podcast. I love it. Yeah. I love having these conversations. I love engaging with you guys. I love everyone I meet who says, oh my God, I've learned so much from you. That feels a very special place in my heart that I can't even describe.
For sure. It's like you're on purpose. That feeling is like, it's better than anything else. And this is what I feel like. And I think I've seen it tried and tested with pretty much everyone with enough consistency and energy towards one thing. There's no way it doesn't literally just give you back all the effort. There's no way. There's just no way. So that belief is just like, even if it's not today or tomorrow or next week, I just know this is it. This is going to be our.
I'm just like, I just know.
You just know. You just know. And that's why I said, like, I just pray that life is able to work with us, that we are able to continue doing this, because sometimes it's just life. Life just lives, and then people stop creating and you never know what's happened. But I pray that it's always in line. And I always say, because it feels like so on purpose, I just feel like God is going to help us figure it out.
I just feel like He will. And I feel like there are times like in our journey where it's like we're not sure where we're going to get the money for next month's production. Then it just comes.
Yeah.
So it just comes.
This production team.
I know.
We've already shot the episodes.
And we're just like, we're waiting for them to send the invoice. Okay, noted. Where's the money? Where's the money for pay? So
fees.
Okay, whose skin are we selling? Yeah, what are we what are we going to do? You know? But somehow we've always made it. And here we are.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
Yeah, love what you do, be consistent with it, and be patient. It's just like a baby. Like, they won't get things right the first time. Just keep going. Me as a mother would know. Yes, just keep being gentle.
Exactly. And it's just gonna grow. Yeah, and I would definitely say this is, if you're thinking of starting a podcast or starting some kind of platform that is content creation, I feel like this is the right time. I feel like Kenya is so ripe for conversations that matter, for new creators. Like, I feel like people are always saying, like, don't you feel like the creation space is just so full? I'm like, where? Have you been to the States? Have you been to the UK and seen the millions that there are? And everyone is serving their own niche. Everyone is in their own purpose. Everyone is doing their own thing. There might be 10 mother creators, like mom content creators, but everyone is doing it in their own way, showing something completely different. So, I mean, I would love to see more women like us in the podcast space. Yeah. So if you and your bestie have been thinking about starting a podcast, start it. Start now.
And funny enough, despite what people think, when there's more competition, quote unquote, there's a way you keep each other up, right? Like, you just think like, okay, like you feel like you've got to be on your A game because you have other people sharing like the same pot of audience, you know, and not even out of competition, out of you want to be better. That's why competition pushes industries forward, because everyone has to be on top of their game. So we are more than willing to share this space. We want to see more women. We want to see more men having these kind of conversations.
That would be amazing.
That would be fantastic.
When we watch Joyride and we're like, wow, look at them. 12 events, 1 month. You 12 months to plan one event. So you see, it's like But you see, things like that, it shows that it's just like, you see, it's possible. They are doing it. So why can't we do it?
Why
And even
can't
us now,
we?
it makes us now start saying, what can we be doing differently? How can we, be able to like get to that level of being able to have more than one event in a year? Like it helps. It helps us all, really.
Yeah,
it helps
it
us all.
does.
So
It does.
yeah, definitely start your podcast. That's the only advice I can give you. Just start
Start
your
the
podcast.
podcast and
Everything
just
else you
wing
figure
it.
out, and start with a
Figure it
contract.
out.
Start with a
Start with a
contract.
contract, especially if you guys
you're
are
more
doing
than
it with
one.
other people, production, use contracts for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it's been such a joyous.
Oh, now let us show them. As you say, continue. You finish with your exit.
It's been such a joyous 100 episodes, and I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of us. Like I was telling Joe, is like when I see her loving on TMI, I feel like that's my baby daddy loving on my baby.
Yeah.
And that love is like, I can't put that on you and you can't put that on me. But it's this shared love that we've just, we just love doing this and we love what we're doing.
Do you know how much talking it is for 100 episodes? Some episodes are like 50 minutes, others are like an hour something. The other day I had an idea after I saw that Babe has done some world record. I was like, let's try and do a world record for the longest podcast episode. What do you guys think? Okay,
No,
yeah, the production team. But
no.
I feel like we could do it. Maybe we'll even find
could.
the longest podcast episode is like an hour, 12 minutes. You never
Definitely,
know.
no, I'm sure it's longer.
How do you know?
We
Sometimes,
could do it.
Yeah,
If
I'm
anyone
going to
could
do the
do it,
research. I'm
we
going to do
could.
the research. We can talk and talk and talk and
and
talk and talk.
and talk. And it never ends.
It never ends.
Yeah,
We'll
we
just
said
talk.
this episode would be 30 minutes.
How long has it been? About 32.
50. Yep.
Where? Sometimes I feel like you add minutes on there. Are you sure?
Imagine.
Bloody hell. Yeah, we can definitely do a 10-hour podcast.
Easy.
We can do it. Don't you want us in the Guinness World
Easy.
Book of Records?
Does that come with money?
No, it comes
okay,
with
done.
recognition.
Done.
You know,
Next.
honestly, having a podcast with a Mkikuyu is difficult, guys. It's very difficult. Okay. I'll research, guys, and then I'll tell you. And you guys say if you'll come and support us, you cheer us on. It can be a live episode.
Yeah.
100 hours of talking. Can be nice.
It's doable. But like once we commit, like I know we just do
We'll
it.
just
but
do it.
Who is doing that? Anyway.
We'll talk about it.
Guys, we love you so much for being here for 100 episodes. Even if you came here right now, or you came here yesterday, or you were here at the beginning, we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much everyone who has been a part of this journey in however your small ways. If you came, you gave us feedback. You guys who give your feedback on what episodes you want, you give us content.
The ones who are always saying fast to watch.
Yeah.
Made it here fast. Oh, I live for you all.
We love you. We appreciate you so much. And I love you and I appreciate you for being an incredible partner in this journey. Not only a partner in business, but a creative partner. That part is the part probably love you more for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, being able to create with you.
I love
it makes
you.
me so happy.
Being able to chase the bag with you.
Yeah.
Being able to dream with you.
Yeah.
Like that's just
It's the best.
it's the best. Let's go and make love now.
Mwah.
Bye,
Let's
guys.
make love.